Hi, everybody. Welcome to virtual lunchtime theater land. My name is Judy Rawlings. I'm the Art Education and Outreach Director here at the Herberger Theater. No, not here at the Herberger Theater Center. There at the Herberger Theater Center. We would all be there at the Herberger Theater Center, but life seemed to have something else in mind for us this year. And were we at the Herberger Theater Center, I probably would be doing my usual curtain speech. And I would be telling you all about the wonderful resident companies. And I would be asking you to fill out a survey telling us what you think about lunchtime theater. And then I would say that I put all the surveys in a great big hat at the end of every month. My boss, however, only lets me pull out 2, but those fabulously fortunate folk win free and clear, no strings attached, 2 tickets to, wait for it, lunchtime theater.
Yay!
Hopefully sooner than later, we will be back at the Herberger Theater Center. But in the meantime, we have been interviewing some of the wonderful artists whose shows were postponed due to the pandemic. And today we're going to be talking to Mr. TA Burrows. Say hello, TA.
Hello, everybody.
TA is an amazing, amazing artist. But before we talk to TA, I want to introduce a woman who needs no introduction, Mary Robinson, who is my associate. Now, Mary does more for lunchtime theater than I can even begin to list. Actually, she does some stuff that I don't even understand, isn't it? But she is much more than an associate. She's my partner. We do this thing together. So take it away, Mary.
Thanks, Judy. Hi, TA. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you, Mary.
Hello, everybody out there in lunchtime theater land. I know it feels like forever since we have been together, but I am very sure we will be back together again in the CACs.
Thank you, Mary. And now on to Mr. TA Burrows, a man of many, many gifts. I want to tell you a little bit about the first time that I met TA. There is a theater company that performs at lunchtime theater called Gray Matters. It's Larissa Brewington's company. And she writes plays and presents them and directs and sometimes acts in them about individuals who are historically important and of African-American descent. So she was going to be doing a play called Frederick and Ida. And I asked her, I said, and who is playing Frederick? And she said, oh, TA Burrows. TA Burrows. You know, TA Burrows. You know TA. And I thought, well, I've heard of TA. I don't really know him. But anyway, yes, indeed, it was wonderful. He was amazing in Frederick and Ida. And the next show he did was A Legacy of Justice. And then just this past season, he did When Douglas Meets Lincoln. And he's just been, and he is an amazing actor. But shortly after the first play he did, or during it, or it was either the first or the second play, he asked me if I would entertain the possibility of him doing his one-man show for lunchtime theater. And I said that, you know, of course I would. And so we set a slot and we were off and running. Excuse me, I have to drink some water here. Now I need to tell you a little bit about how TA does his show. He arrives for his first and only rehearsal with his entire set. And that is a table over which he puts a black tablecloth. And on top of that are a few props, maybe a sign, a bottle of water. Then there's an easel and usually, and he puts signs or pictures that he uses during the show. He has a portable speaker and a microphone, and that's it. And after one rehearsal, he's off and running, doing amazing work and entertaining and delighting all of our audiences every single time. So enough for me. Let's talk to the man himself. Mary, do you want to start?
You betcha. So, TA, tell us a little bit about yourself and about your life as an artist. When did that start? Why did that start?
Okay. Well, I'm originally from New York City. That is my home, where I was born and raised. And I started my entertainment career while I was in the Air Force. I was in the military and I was stationed in North Carolina. And I noticed one day they were having a talent contest at the base. And I had kind of played around with doing some voices and stuff, mainly at home to entertain my wife and our friends. But my wife actually encouraged me to sign up for the talent contest. She said, "You be good, go ahead and do it." And I was really reluctant to do it. I'm just like, on stage in front of people, I just don't see me doing this. But she talked me into it. So I signed up for the talent contest. I ended up winning first place. I then went to the next 2 levels in the contest and won again. And needless to say, from that point on, I was just hooked. And at the time, what I was doing was I was doing stand-up comedy and I was doing impressions. And then I a few years later had an opportunity to tour with the Air Force's elite showcase called Tops in Blue. I performed 3 years with them. And by that time, I had just decided I want to be a professional entertainer, and this is what I want to do. Now, I mentioned that I started my career as a stand-up comic, and I did a lot of that. I had a lot of wonderful shows. I performed in Las Vegas. I got to open for some big stars. I had a very successful comedy career. But all along, the one thing I really wanted to do was sing. And so when I finally had an opportunity to do that, I just grabbed onto it and haven't slowed down since.
Wow, that's amazing. I see you have on a t-shirt that says Act 2 Productions.
Act 2, yes.
And I know that's the name of your company. Tell me a
Yes.
little bit about the company itself.
Okay. When I first started, as I mentioned, I was doing stand-up, and I started a smaller company called The Entertainer and Associates, the entertainer being me, the associates being other comedians that I knew or worked with and would book, and I would put together shows and around the valley in different places. But in 2003, I met a young lady by the name of Lori Ellers, and her and I became very good friends. And we decided to expand my business, and we wanted to do more than just me doing stand-up. I wanted to do some singing. I wanted to do some shows, maybe some small plays kind of thing. And so she agreed to work with me and became my partner. And we formed a company, and we called it Act 2 Productions. And the reason it's called that is because Lori, who's my age, and we have some similar experiences, we both felt like Act 1 of our lives was checking off all the boxes. Getting married, having children, working, being a responsible adult. And once you reach the point where you've checked off all the boxes, you start Act 2. And that's where you get to do all the stuff you really want to do. And for me, it was entertaining and performing and just having a great time. So that's how Act 2 came to be. We wrote several shows that we performed together, Unforgettable, On the Air, and a hilarious play called Driving Miss Daisy Crazy.
Okay.
So TA, unfortunately, you were one of our shows this season that we had to postpone.
Yes.
It's going to be starting for us in August.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing that we can't see you then, can you tell us a little bit about it? What was the title? What was it going to be about?
Yes. The show that I was going to do for you in August was called In Concert. I mentioned that in my career, I started out doing impressions. And even when I became a singer, I kind of focused on singing in other people's voices. And so, of course, a lot of the shows that I've done at Lunchtime Theater have always been me performing as, Sammy Davis Jr. or Nat King Cole or Johnny Mathis or even Elvis Presley and some other artists. But I created this show called In Concert because I decided it was time for me to do a show where I got to sing some songs in my voice. And so In Concert is exactly that. It's a show in which I get to sing some of my favorite songs in my own voice, and I get to tell a little bit of my story of how I became an entertainer and how that's all come about. So a lot of comedy in there, a lot of wonderful music, very diverse music, different kinds of music, and a show that I think when we get the chance to put it on is going to be a wonderful experience for the audience.
Right. Wonderful. What was the last show you did for us?
The last show I did for you was a show called Remember When. And I did it's a decade show. So I did songs from the 50s, songs from the 60s, and then some songs from the 70s.
It was wonderful.
Thank you.
So we've already spoken to TA about coming back next season. So
Yes.
any ideas about what kind of show you might do then?
Well, I'm thinking it's going to be in concert. I think it's time for that show to hit the lunchtime theater stage. You know, I know a lot of people have seen me perform at lunchtime theater. I've been very blessed to have a lot of wonderful audiences there. And because of that, and the fact they've seen me do all of these different people, different voices, I want to give them a chance to hear me sing. So that's what I'm going to do when I come back. It'll be in concert.
Great. How many have you done for us?
We've done 4.
Okay.
We did Legends of Song, my tribute to great singers from the past. We did Top of the Charts, a tribute to #1 rock and roll songs. We did Rockin' the Classics, which was a tribute to the songs from American Bandstand. And then last year we did Remember When.
Right. Wonderful.
Do you have a favorite out of any of those?
Well, you know, I have to say between 2. One, I love Legends of Song is always the first show that I usually do for a new client, just because I love doing those great artists, Nat King Cole, Sammy Davis Jr., Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra. So that's always a favorite. But I think for lunchtime theater, I'd have to say that Top of the Charts was my favorite because that was the show in which we got folks up out of the audience to dance. And I had so much fun with them. It was a great, great time.
For sure. What draws you to lunchtime theater as a performer?
I love the atmosphere. I love the intimate setting. You know, the people are close and you get to relate to them and you get to look into their eyes and sing and watch them respond to your performance. And, you know, and working with everybody at lunchtime theater is such a joy. I mean, I love working with you. I love working with Mary and with Chris. The whole staff is so supportive, and it's just, I mean, it's my favorite show, my favorite venue of all the places that I perform in the Valley.
Speaking of venues, I know that you perform other places because I have seen you perform other places.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about where other theater groups, other venues you.
Okay. Yes, I do perform all over the Valley. I would say the bulk of my shows at the moment are performed at a lot of the senior communities in the Valley because it's something that I feel I was called to do. And I love the opportunity to go out and perform for the seniors, bring back some wonderful memories for them, perform some of their favorite music. So that has been an opportunity that's come to me. And I've had a lot of opportunities to go there and do those shows, usually over 100 a year at the senior communities. But then in addition to that, some of the theater companies that I've worked for in the past have invited me back to do my shows there. So I've been at Fountain Hills Theater, I've been at Desert Foothills Theater, I've been at Theater Works. And so those are some of the places that I also get a chance to perform my shows.
Well, you are a very well-rounded, talented entertainer. You act amazingly, you sing, you dance well. You even made your own CD, and I have it right here.
Yes.
From Vegas with Love by TA Burrows. It's
Yes.
amazing.
Wonderful.
I have it.
You bet. It's in my CD player. I listen to it every day.
Wonderful.
But of all the things that you do, sing, dance, I don't know if you direct, act, do you have a
Yes.
favorite of all of those?
Yes, I have directed. I directed Smokey Joe's Cafe for Desert Foothills Theater.
Oh, okay.
It was a great experience. I had a great time. The show was fantastic. I had wonderful entertainers. I wasn't in the show, but I was very proud of that moment because I not only got to direct the show, I also did the majority of the choreography for the show, and I ended up winning a Zoni that year for choreography, which was a huge thrill for me. But I think if I could pick one thing to do, it would be to sing, because that's really where my heart is. You know, even starting out as a stand-up comic, I love the opportunity of being on stage, but in the back of my mind, I kept thinking, one of these days I'm going to sing. And so that's the thing I think that's nearest and dearest to my heart.
Wow.
So now that we've heard wonderful things about you, anything else you'd like to share with us? I mean, what are you doing during all this time of staying home?
Well, one thing, I had an opportunity to finally, and I've been trying to work on this for like a year and a half, finally put my CD together and get that done. I've also started making some music videos from the songs on the CD, and they're on YouTube. So I have a YouTube channel. It's TA Burrows, Act 2 Productions. And a lot of the songs from the CD are on there. And I've decided that what I want to do is, a lot of the senior places that I perform have been unable to have me there because of things going on with the virus. And so what I've done is I've put together a couple of music videos that I've been able to share with those communities so they can share them with the residents so that we're still connected. So that's been keeping me very busy. And like I said, doing the music videos. And so now what I've started doing is I'm going to start posting a video a week of a song with some graphics and some information about the songs, similar to what I do in my shows, just to kind of keep music out there. So that's what's keeping me busy. And a couple of the places that I've worked at have had me do, this past week, I did a show on Zoom for one of my clients, and I also did a show on Skype for another one of my senior communities. So I'm staying busy.
Good for you. Well, I want to mention one picture that I have in my mind that I'll never forget when you did Bojangles in your first show, right? I mean, it's very touching to me. You do it so beautifully. And there's a question that I bet everybody out there is wondering, what does TA stand for?
Oh, normally that's a big secret that I never share with people.
Okay.
But because the two of you are my favorites, I don't mind telling you.
Okay.
The T and the A stand for my first and middle names.
Well, that's rather elusive, but anyway.
Okay, I'll tell you because there's a joke that I have behind that. It actually stands for Theodore Alvin, and my joke is usually the fact that had my last name been Simon, I could have been all three chipmunks.
Very good. Okay. Oh, thank you so much, TA. We love you. We can't wait till you perform for us again.
Well, I can't wait. I can't wait to come back to Lunchtime Theater and entertain there again. It's such a great experience. So once this is all over and done with, I'm ready to hit the stage.
Great. Wonderful. And thank you, Mary. Thank you, all of you out there in virtual Lunchtime Theater land. Keep tuned. Thank you. Stay safe. Stay cool.
Bye-bye.